Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
We begin tonight with breaking news here on KCAL 9 News at 9 o'clock. A police pursuit is happening in Van Nuys.
Stu Mundell is live in Sky 9. Stu.
Well, Van Nuys, let's just say almost all of the small cities in the valley. Right now, we're on the 405s. Looks like we're going to be transitioning back onto the 118. Let's do some highlight reels. This is a impaired driver. They still use the word DUI, drunk driving, but they're saying impaired. Earlier on, when it was a full-blown pursuit, meaning lights and sirens, black and whites behind them, it was up in the Pacoima area. This car actually made contact, serious contact, with another vehicle. You can see some of the damage there on the side of the car, but it kept on going. That's when officers from LAPD were saying, hey, you know what, maybe we should back off a little bit. The helicopter, always overhead, and when we say backed off, that doesn't mean they didn't just throw their hands up and walk away. They basically slowed up, they got a little bit farther behind, and they put less pressure on this driver. This is a tactic we see quite often in the LAPD's ability, or in their bag of tricks for pursuits. Where are we right now? We've transitioned westbound 118 freeway. We're in one of the missions, where Granada Hills mission, one of the hills. We're going to be in the Mission Hills area right now, and you can see this car's still moving. Granada Hills is going to be coming up. This is the first time we've seen them on the westbound 118, and this is what we've been seeing. So dangerous, using all lanes on the streets and on the freeways. LAPD in the air behind them, some cars on the streets in tracking mode, but this is a very dangerous pursuit, and it continues now on the westbound 118.
Yeah, you know, it was really interesting, Stu. I was watching this on our Facebook Live broadcast earlier tonight. I saw that the front rotors of the brakes appear to be glowing in the night sky there. Is that because that person may be driving with an emergency brake on or something like that? Have they been braking quite a bit?
You know, Jeff, it is amazing to see that if they have that highlight reel. The front brakes glowing, those disc brakes glowing red, and that heat is what is a huge problem. Right now, we don't see that brake light, that third eye coming on that often, giving a chance for those brakes to cool down. Why is that important? Why are we worried about that just watching? That's going to impair that vehicle's ability to stop. If he gets hard on those brakes because somebody's cutting him off, that car not going to perform like it should when it's in optimal, or when it's in the most working condition. Right now, though, we can't really see those rotors, but it has been, probably not from an emergency brake, probably not from damage, because all four of those rotors have been glowing. This guy just riding those brakes. He's probably got 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake. It's not a good driving technique ever, especially not if you're at high speeds and running from officers. So right now, though, you can see the car still moving. Those brakes are on, that third eye popping up. Westbound 118, we're going to be getting into the Porter Ranch area. Does seem like he's kind of playing some of these options. There we go. As soon as you say it, he's off that right shoulder. Here we go, taking an off-ramp. We're exiting Reseda Boulevard. First time we've seen him so far away from the general area where it started, out in the Pacoima area, Sylmar area, and the Van Nuys area. Now it looks like he's cutting people off. That's what he's been doing on these turns. Luckily, haven't seen him hit anybody. Another solid red. What is he doing? Getting right back onto the freeway.
If you're just joining us, we are watching a pursuit of a suspected impaired driver. Started in the Pacoima, Sylmar, Van Nuys area. Looks like we're in Porter Ranch perhaps right now. He was going westbound on the 118 freeway. And as Stu and Jeff were just mentioning, it looks like he may be having some, perhaps some problems with the car and the way it's operating, but driving very dangerously, using all lanes, going through red lights, driving pretty fast. Stu, are there any patrol units behind him, or are they just following him in the air right now?
Right now, they're still in a tracking mode. We've been listening to it. It must be such a difficult decision for any of the sergeants or the people involved to say, should we be chasing this guy? Should we be warning the public with the lights and sirens? Or should we kind of back off and hope this guy slows down? We haven't seen him slow down. They've been in tracking mode for quite some time. Going to get a little bit wider. I'm always kind of worried. The freeway seems to be kind of wide open, but you can see the units from LAPD they are there, but they are so far behind. I guess probably quarter mile, eighth of a mile behind. The closest is going to be that helicopter right there. And he's got his lights on him. Going to be getting off the freeway again. Definitely going to be in the Porter Ranch area. We'll get you a street here in just a second. But we've seen this kind of moves before. Gets on the freeway, gets off the freeway. Solid red light. making a southbound turn. Looks like he's, I believe this is Porter Ranch, is the road in Porter Ranch, cutting some people off back onto the 118 freeway. You know, I was playing with the Sky 9's camera, getting some of that camera magic, that TV magic, really trying to look inside there. Every now and then I see some movement. I'm wondering, they're saying just a single driver, but I'm kind of curious. Is it really just the driver? You know, swinging Sky 9 around there. I hope everybody's taking their Dramamine at home, and we're swinging it back around, and now we're going to be eastbound on the 118 freeway from the Porter Ranch area, basically going back the way we came. Now, LAPD units are on the ground. They are using their radios. They know the area he's in. But these high speeds, and possibly impaired driver, just makes you worried about the public out there this evening.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Stu, as I take a look at this vehicle, I'm no expert, but does that appear to be a Dodge Dart? That certainly is a newer vehicle, and of course, you said that might have some damage to the front brakes, the brakes all around, but certainly it appears this guy's been going fast enough in this two-door sedan, maybe the four-door Dodge Dart of some sort. And also, can you tell us a little bit about the speeds that we're going in following this individual?
You know, Jeff, I'm sorry I haven't mentioned the speeds. I'm going to try to pull up some numbers for you right now. But I can tell you, Dodge product for sure. Can't confirm the Dart. I think it is. It might actually even be a Chrysler, but I've heard them say the words Dodge. So if it is a Dodge, like they've been saying, and rarely LAPD is wrong about this stuff, it's probably going to be a Dart. Four-door, subcompact, front-wheel drive. I don't know. What else can I say about it? I can tell you Sky 9 tracking right now, 106 miles an hour is what we're doing.
Wow.
Tracking, falling a little bit behind. So he's well above the 3 digits up there. So he is going well over freeway speeds. 118 this evening, I wouldn't say wide open, but light enough traffic. But it gives you an idea as he passes all these people. You know, people are driving out there this evening. You know, I always, whenever I see this, I know everybody's got a mom and a dad, and I always think to myself, you know, my parents, elderly, they live in this area. If they're out there on the freeway tonight and this guy's barreling up behind them, I'd be panicked that they would panic and something could happen. And this is one of the reasons why these pursuits, we put them on the air. We're trying to warn some people. We're trying to give people heads up. LAPD, that's their job. So they're out here right now. They got that spotlight on them. There are officers nearby, lights and sirens, but it hasn't slowed this guy down. 118 freeway, back into the Mission Hills area. Going to be coming up on the 405 here shortly. But he has been in the Pacoima area. That's kind of the area where it started. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Extremely high speeds. We believe he's in there by himself. Impaired driver, driving extremely fast on these freeways tonight.
And so, as Stu was saying, that they're in tracking mode right now. The authorities definitely following him from the sky right now, and it looks like the ground units are quite a ways back. And Stu, this has got to be a difficult situation because he is driving dangerously, but they also believe for whatever reason that he's an impaired driver. So not only can you not drive well when you're impaired, but then when you're being followed by police, that may affect how dangerous this gets. So that might be a factor in why you don't see patrol units right behind this guy. But we can just tell by looking at the shot, this guy is going really, really fast. So is he on the freeway right now? And it looks like he might be getting off.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, Lena, he just jumped over that medium. I think he's going to be taking the 405 right there, but he definitely got some sparks. He jumped over that medium. 405 southbound, I believe what he's going to be taking. Yep, 405 south. I just got the confirmation. You know, very high speeds and very dangerous moves. And Lena, you got it, exactly. This is what the officers have to deal with. There is a hierarchy. The officers that are in those cars, they have to answer to somebody, and that somebody they're answering to is making these decisions right now. Is it worth it? Is it, you know, are we putting more people in harm's way by following, getting right behind them, or is it better just to stay away? But with these high speeds, there we go, cutting people off again, coming up on the, I think it's going to be, no, it's going to be Roscoe first. Nordhoff is going to be the first one. So Nordhoff is going to be the first off ramp here, southbound 405, getting back into the Van Nuys, North Hills area. But you know what? He's been staying on the freeways. gives me a little bit of sigh of relief because he's been moving these crazy high speeds on these very tight roads out here. Van Nuys area earlier on, he loved that Langdon, and that street is filled with apartments, tiny 2-lane area, so it's very populated. Thank goodness he's staying out here on the freeways, best as you can say. Looking down right now, 102 miles an hour is what Sky 9 is doing. We're tracking along, so this car really moving out. LAPD, they got their hands full. People on the roads tonight, if you're getting heads up from your friends, do it safely. If you're gonna get, if you're trying to get a hold of somebody that may be on the freeway, do it safely. But we're talking right now, I heard the magic words. They are going to re-engage this pursuit. Somebody made a decision. We're going to start seeing LAPD right behind him very shortly.
Yeah, this is breaking news on KCAL 9. Stu Medell overhead of a pursuit. This is a police pursuit with LAPD. At one point in time, this driver was on the westbound 118, turned around the eastbound 118, now on the 405, going above 100 miles an hour, 106 miles per hour at one point in time. And what is really odd to me, Lena, is this Dodge Dart or Chrysler 200 is going at speeds of 100 miles an hour, but yet you see them tapping on the brake as they're going at this high rate of speed. So I don't know if that's showing inexperience of that driver. They're starting to stop, getting into some traffic. So Stu, where are we now?
We're right at Roscoe right now. He's going to be making an eastbound turn on Roscoe. This is over by Galpin Ford. This is a very tight area. Back onto the freeway right now, back onto the southbound 405. You know, when they said that magic words, re-engage, you know, if those officers from LAPD are, let's say, quarter mile, eighth mile back, you know, this car's going 100-something miles an hour. So those officers, they're going to have to catch up. So they're getting closer. Northbound 405, that's the turn we just saw, going to be heading basically back the direction we've been headed. Don't know what this guy's plan is. I mean, gosh, who knows what these guys have, if they even have a plan. Obviously, he's driving very fast. He thinks he's going to maybe get away. Most likely he won't. Right now, 405 looks like he's starting to favor that right lane, so it looks like we're going to be getting back off the freeway. Think this is going to be Nordoff. I'll get that confirmation in a minute. We'll see what it looks like for traffic as he gets to the end of the ramp, but he's definitely starting to pass people.
Going around in circles.
Nordoff is the street, and back onto the streets onto Nordoff,
and cutting off a car.
Back onto Langdon.
Now getting into a neighborhood. It still is amazing to me that this person continues to ride the brakes as they were going highway speeds. I wonder if that's just an experienced driver behind the wheel, or somebody using the right foot for the gas and left foot for the brake, but that's very odd to me.
Or someone who's drunk. I mean, they are
could be drunk.
They're chasing. They're saying it's an impaired driver, so you never know what's going on there. But so Stu, you were saying the police, the ground units were quite some ways back. If you heard that they were going to re-engage this pursuit, this guy actually started heading back towards them. But he's going so fast right now. Do you see any ground units at all? Oh, actually, there they are.
There's
right
two.
Right there, Lena. They're right there. There's two of them right there. He was on Chase right there. Now he's back onto Parthenia. Another street has a lot of apartments on it out here. North Hills area. Sepulveda, another major street. You know what? We thought, whoa, solid. That was through Plummer right there. Was a red light. There were cars right on both sides of him right there. We watch these pursuits, and sometimes we're just like, experienced driver. I wouldn't give this guy an ounce of credit. I would say that this guy is lucky at best. LAPD helicopter right above it right there, bringing us the light this evening on Parthenia. Looks like I'm surprised we haven't seen Sepulveda yet, but we went through Sepulveda, sorry, my bad. So we're working our way back into the Pacoima area, but these speeds on these roads, extremely dangerous. Parthenia is the street right now, but he's using center lanes. He's passing Van Nuys. He's going to be coming up onto Van Nuys Boulevard. You know that's a big one out here, and we're going to see what he does as he's getting up to that street. Plummer, Van Nuys, he made that turn right there. Kind of slowing down now. Not seeing those high glow, that red glow from those brakes, but he's definitely pushing that car more than it's worth, and definitely when he does that, he's taking other people's lives and also injuries into his own hands. Yeah,
not to mention it's dark out there, and of course that's always the scary part. You get these big intersections, he's blowing through these red lights, you got people, pedestrians, you got cyclists, you got people that he may or may not be able to see, and of course this person has been driving over 100 miles per hour on the highways.
Looks like
and now
Panorama City.
Is that an alley, or is that just another side street? I guess it's a side street.
It's an alley. It's in an alley. And sometimes when we see this, we know we're going to be getting close to the end. Either that, yep, he's going to bail. He's going to bail. Two people in that car. Two people in the car. We're going to move Sky 9 around right now. Troy, you got to see where he's running. We're going to stay a little bit wider. but he's definitely in the apartments. LAPD running after him right there. We're going to get the helicopter around quick as we can. We can see them running right there. LAPD making the move down this alleyway. Going to see. He's on the other side of the building. That's what he's saying. Other side of the building already. Back in the carport area. There we go. We got some LAPD up. There. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to hear exactly where they are.
Yeah, we'll give you a minute, Stu, if you want to listen to.
Definitely between the building.
Yeah, if you want to take.
Definitely between the buildings. We're hearing them definitely making contact with that suspect. So it may be coming to an end.
So at least one suspect.
Definitely officers running here.
Yeah, if you want to take just a second, Stu, to catch up there real quick, we'll continue to talk about this here. Lena, they just look like they bailed out in a parking lot. This appears to be some sort of apartment complex, and this is going to be on a surface street once they got off the 405 northbound.
Well, earlier, Stu had said that he had heard radio traffic that they believed it was only the driver, but Stu said he thought he might have seen someone else in the vehicle. You can see one person down right there. He was right. It looked like there were at least two people.
Both down.
Yeah, two people jumped out of that car.
They stayed together.
Yep. And it looks like both people are on the ground there, but I'm sure the police are right there. They haven't started arresting them yet, though, Stu.
No, they haven't. They're waiting for backup. But I got to tell you, those two people, that might be one of the persons from the car and somebody else that he may have known. Very, very, very confusing out here. The officers are also there. I hear that they're still thinking there might be one person outstanding. That definitely one person still outstanding right now. One of those two people is a suspect from the vehicle. The other one may be somebody they ran to or was in that area. They're taking those guys into custody right there. The light colored t-shirt, that's what I'm hearing him talk about. That was the driver. We saw him earlier on. They're still looking for that guy. Now it's, like you said, this is going to be the Panorama City where this thing came to an end out here. LAPD, they've got this area surrounded. And you know what? A little hindsight right here. You got to give the officer, you got to give the officer some credit. You know, they re-engaged it right at the right time. I'm just getting information right now from my pilot from the LAPD helicopter. One of these suspects has a weapon, has a gun.
Okay, Stu, it looks like we may have two people down, face down at this Panorama City apartment complex, as this was the end of a pursuit in a vehicle, impaired driver, some sort of drunk driver possibly, that police engaged in Pacoima. This was a pursuit that lasted for about an hour, Lena.
We're going to keep Stu Mandel in Sky 9 above the situation, and he's going to bring us an update as soon as something else develops here. Let's go out to Sky 9 and Stu Mandel. This is at least the second one tonight. Stu, what can you show us?
Well, you know, we just left one pursuit. We got another one right here. I know we have some tape from when we just started to pick this up. It was kind of, we were trying to figure out exactly what was going on. That car you see right there pulls into a dead-end road right by the Burbank Airport. He opens the door, a young lady steps out, and the guy climbs back in. He doesn't even close the door. Tries to pull some Dukes of Hazzard type of move, swings that car around, and takes off. Is there any LAPD on the ground? No. Where are we right now? We're going to be in the Burbank area. This is going to be San Fernando, Buena Vista. That's the car. Who's chasing it? LAPD airship. Trying to figure out what he's going to do. Looks like we're going underneath the 5 freeway. There's an on-ramp here, but then there's also a lot of other areas where he could get out. Doesn't look like he's slowing down for that on-ramp. Is there northbound right now? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Yep, he is. That's going to be Buena Vista, northbound 5 freeway. What is this guy wanted for? I'm waiting to find out, I'll tell you that. But northbound 5 freeway, one person in this car for sure this time, Lena.
Yeah, well, whatever he's wanted for, again, another driver desperate to get away from the authorities. As you said, much like the other one, right now, they're for sure following him from the sky. I'm sorry if I didn't catch this. Do you see any units on the ground right behind him at all?
I don't think there is anybody, but it's just a
Lena,
helicopter.
no, but I can tell you that there are a couple of them starting to get a little bit closer. You know, don't know how this thing started, but they are asking for units with light bars on top. If that sounds a little odd to any of our viewers, that means they're looking for a police car, a black and white that you would see as a black and white with the ampoules on top, the reds and blues, not just the ones in the windows. Right. This guy really starting to move out. We've seen him try to drive fast earlier on, and when I say try to drive fast, he makes these high rates of speed moves, then he'll stop, make a U-turn. Now, pretty well established on the 5 freeway. It's an older car. I know it's a Mercury, maybe a Lincoln, Ford product for sure. Working his way now northbound 5 freeway, Sunland area. But you can see this car really starting to move. Sky 9, I can't give you an exact number right now on the speed because we're trying to catch up.
Yeah, you can tell that that's an older vehicle as the headlights are not as bright as the newer vehicles there. As we continue to follow this pursuit, this is the second pursuit that we have covered tonight. This is one happening in Burbank. Stu Mundell and Sky 9 is overhead, and we don't know the exact cause of why police first engaged or found out about this vehicle, but there is a helicopter, as you see there, just in the shot just a few seconds ago. LAPD is following that vehicle, lighting it up, and ground units rushing to get to that scene. At this point in time, the 5 freeway northbound in Sun Valley from Burbank is where we picked it up, Lena.
And it looks like, I guess he's in the carpool lane right now. And I know you're trying to catch up, but just by looking at how many cars he's passing, it looks like he's going pretty fast there, Stu. Cutting across all lanes right now.
Well over the 3 number, well over the 3 digits, well into the 100s right now. You know, we're going 134 miles an hour, so that's going to be the air. That's pretty much the max for Sky 9. Just starting to catch up to it. We'll get you some solid numbers here shortly. 5 freeway northbound. This is going to be coming up on the 170. Pretty popular area out here in the valley for sure. Northbound, it's going to be we're going to be coming back into the Pacoima area. Now this has nothing to do with the chase earlier this evening. Very bizarre beginning though. When we first got there on scene, car pulls over, stops, guy gets out, opens the door for the young lady, then he climbs back in through the passenger side, and it is on. LAPD, they've got the ship overhead, the airship, that's the helicopter, got the light on it. They are making the calls right now. I see reds and blues behind him, but they are having a little difficulty, not difficulty, let's kind of play it safe here, but because of his high speeds, it's going to take him a minute or two to catch up to him. That's going to be the 170 transition right there. Going to lose him for a moment or two, but he's going to pop back out. 5 freeways where he's going to be. There he is. And, you know, these speeds, high speeds on an open freeway might be a little bit safer for the public. But that all being said, high speeds never good with somebody that's desperate to get away. Gosh only knows what's on this guy's mind right now. Northbound 5 freeway, Pacoima area, probably going to be coming up on, I'm looking out the window, Osborne. But right now, this guy desperately trying to get away from officers. Helicopter overhead, is going to keep an eye on it for sure. Ground units starting to make their way over there. Now in the carpool lane, northbound 5 freeway, Pacoima.
Yeah,
Arleta, excuse me, Arleta.
Yeah, Stu, this vehicle using all the lanes going from left to right on the freeway here. This is going to be on the 5 freeway. This is going to be northbound now. Stu, at what point in time will CHP get involved in this? Because we have LAPD helicopter overhead. Will the Highway Patrol at some point in time try to engage this as well?
You know, he's making these moves out there. He's what, you know, they say threading the needle. This guy, I'm just going to say lucky. They can't pick a lane, moving all over the place out here. We saw him just do those really tight moves, pushing his way through there, trying to stay on that carpool lane. You know, I always make the joke with the wife, it's the carpool lane. It's not the super fast lane. This guy, he's making it the super fast lane today, pushing people out of the way, hasn't made contact with cars, but's been doing this type of move right there. Probably somebody, up there we go. Looks like he's trying to make a decision right here. All across the lanes. He has the opportunity for the 118. Doesn't look like he's going to take it, especially not at those speeds. I was getting kind of panicked there for a second. There's the 118. Good friend of mine just told me, cross the 118, you're in San Fernando. So officially in San Fernando right now, northbound 405. It's going to be approaching the 5 freeway here very quickly. At these speeds, this guy's really starting to move out. Don't know if California Highway Patrol is going to get involved, but that's definitely an option. No solid license plates on this. Getting information right now. I'm sure our desk has got to confirm it. Very fluid situation. So right now, going to say we're hearing stolen vehicle.
Okay. So that is the first that we've heard of a possible motive for why this guy's trying to get away from the police right now. Possibly a stolen vehicle. Going very fast on the northbound I-5 right now. And Stu, I don't think you've been able to even get a chance to see if we saw more than one person in the car. And I don't know if it's because it's really dark or if those windows are tinted, but we really haven't been able to get any look inside the car, have we?
Well, you know, lead on this one, we saw it at the beginning. We know there was at least 2 people in that car. That young lady got out, walked away. Driver got back into the car and tried to make this crazy move to, like, he left the door open and tried to slam. Anyways, at any rate, right now, I can tell you Sky 9 is keeping up with him. Going to be getting off an off-ramp right here. I'd venture to say this is going to be Roxford. Again, the hill right here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're just doing that transition right there. He took the truck lane. That's what happened right there. Thought he was going to be getting off the freeway. Took the truck lane. Just going to be joining the 5 freeway right now from the 405. But look at these speeds. I'm looking down at the clock right now. When I say clock, I mean the speedometer. Looks like we're going about 110 miles an hour across the ground, tracking this vehicle this evening. That car going about that same speed. Roxford going to be the next off-ramp. Looks like he might be taking it as he's getting closer to the wall right there. Makes it for a difficult shot. But Roxford, a lot of options out here, a lot of wide streets, but at these speeds, you got to wonder what he's going to do when he comes to the end of the ramp.
Yeah, now he's taking an exit here, and this is when he gets into surface streets. He's going to go under the overpass. Of course, this is where it could get a little more dangerous as we've got several lanes of traffic. Of course, we have, he's just going to make a big U-turn and get right back on going now. It would be southbound on the 5 freeway. We've seen that before many times in these pursuits. These drivers don't know exactly where they're going. Obviously, they're trying to escape the helicopter, whatever the case may be, going on inside there. And they make the big U-turn. And now, do we have any vehicles behind him yet, Stu? Any police? You know,
that's the reason why. That's the reason why I just went wide. Officers from LAPD. I'm pretty sure they're LAPD. I got to get that confirmed. But I can tell you, law enforcement just doing that turn that he made on Roxford. This guy's got a little bit of a go on those guys. But you know, helicopter overhead. He's got the light on it. He's not going to outrun that guy for sure. You know, the LAPD. They're working on this one. They're trying to get their ducks in a row. They are going to get this guy. Stolen vehicle, buddy. If you can hear us, why are you even running? It's just a stolen car. But that's what LAPD's got to be thinking also. Maybe there's more to this. Maybe this guy's wanted for something else. And that's what they always have to play with. How dangerous is this suspect? We do know he let somebody out of the car. Don't know if she demanded it or if he was trying to be some sort of gentleman. But a woman did get out of the car earlier on in the Burbank area when this was kind of starting up. Helicopter's been over it for quite some time. Southbound 5 freeway, going to be approaching the 118. He's in that carpool lane. Pretty sure there's no transition right there, so he's going to be committed to that 5. Don't know where he's going. Don't know what the plan is right now, but definitely going to be keeping an eye out on it. Slowing down a little bit, if you can believe it. Still about 100 miles an hour, and that's slowing down.
Yeah, that's pretty scary when you're talking about slowing down. It's down to 100 miles per hour, but as Stu just said, looks like we've got some units behind him now, finally, because he's been going so fast. We've, of course, been following him from the air. And I had forgotten, because this is the second chase that we've been on tonight, but it started out, I believe, in the Burbank area where he let a female passenger out of the car and then took off. And going very fast right now, going southbound on the 5 freeway in the Sylmar area. You don't know where he's going. I'm not sure he knows where he's going, Stu.
You know, sometimes I always wondered, and I get, you know, we get the text, we read them sometimes, especially when this is on the social media. You know, they ask these questions like, where's he going? Gosh, I only know. You know, right now, he is just really moving out. We don't want to be too playful with these pursuits, even though sometimes it is just kind of funny to watch the decisions or the lack of decision making when these drivers try to get away from LAPD. But with these high speeds, and it's a vehicle, this could end very poorly for that driver in that car, and heaven forbid somebody else, an innocent person, gets hurt. Right now, though, still, we're back up to about 110, southbound on the 5, passing Terabella very quickly. There it is. There it's gone. He's going to be coming up on the 710 again. I'm sorry, the 170. That's my dyslexia. But looks like he's going to be established in the carpool lane. There is a transition to the 170 right there. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, this is an older model vehicle. Stu has mentioned it's possibly a Mercury or some type of Ford vehicle. As we take a closer look at this car here on this pursuit that's happening live here on KCAL 9, southbound on the 5 freeway. Speeds of over 100 miles per hour. We know the chopper overhead can go about 120, 130, and it's got up to about 110 miles per hour in this pursuit that started in Burbank. LAPD is overhead in one of their helicopters, but as we understand at this point in time, no ground units following this this driver of this stolen vehicle. But we are waiting to see if there will be CHP, maybe LAPD that will get involved with this as we take this wider shot. And you can really see how fast he's moving when he's passing those cars like they're standing still. And of course, cars on the highway are going, you know, 65,
fast, yeah.
70, 75 miles per hour. And he's obviously just passing them like it's nothing. And it's just basically that person behind the wheel going 100 miles per hour plus, an older model vehicle. And now it appears the lights in the car have gone out, Stu. The lights just went out in that car.
And you know what, Jeff, if you look at it just a moment ago, my monitor might be a little better, saw him on his cell phone, looking at the phone. So you got to be thinking, this guy, 100 plus, on the freeway, in traffic, and looking at his phone.
And no headlights.
You know, and no headlights right now. And that's more for the other people in the area. You know, you flinch, you see something in your mirror, no lights on, you might flinch. One occupant in the vehicle, that means just the driver, extremely high speeds out here, extremely dangerous situation. So, you know, gosh, I'm just hopeful that nobody gets hurt. We don't see him on that phone right now, but we definitely saw a light on in that vehicle, on that phone, as he's making these crazy high-speed moves out here, back in the carpool lane. Don't know what the light's off. Don't have any idea what that has to do with anything. We're on a lit freeway. We can see him. But anyway, LAPD still right behind him right there. The lights are on. Also, got to be clear, units are trying to catch up. So, you know, you got to figure this guy's doing 110. You know, the police cars, you know, what are they going to be maxed out at, and where are they going to, what's their
he's
danger,
making invasive,
their safety limit?
Yeah, he went all the way from the left-hand lane and the HOV lanes all the way to the right-hand lane, again going over 100 miles an hour, no headlights whatsoever. And since this is an older car, I wonder if maybe he's taxing the engine a little bit. Maybe the generator has knocked off the headlights, but I don't know. This is dangerous because you got somebody going that fast. Go ahead, Stu.
We're just exiting Hollywood Way. This is roughly the area where it started. Hard turn right there. Whoa! Over a median right there. Don't know where he's going to come out. We're going to take a look. We've seen it in the past where he's gotten stuck, or we've seen the car stop under the freeway. Right now, though, this is where he is.
I don't see him.
They're calling for units right now. A helicopter saying the same thing we are, looking for him. That's not him right there. He's stopped underneath the freeway. You know, that might be some sort of tactic if somebody is there that can give him a ride. But there he is.
Somebody to
he
walk
must have gotten out of the.
He's on the sidewalk?
He got out of the vehicle. He got out of the vehicle, let that car roll. So right now, those are the first units making contact right there. Undercover units. Those are the ones they didn't want behind him because they were undercover units. They wanted the full light bars. They're going to see if, you know, we've seen these in the past where they've like made some sort of deal. We saw him on the phone. Definitely not up there on that hillside, guys. I can tell you that. They're going to start checking these cars right now. They're going to stop the cars. Foot pursuit. I hear him.
You think they located?
No, I'm sorry. They said no, they have not located him.
I wonder if he went back the other way.
Another interesting ending.
Yeah, I wonder if he went back the other way.
Another interesting ending here.
Yeah, like you mentioned, if he just bailed out and the car just went ahead and drive and got stuck there on the sidewalk, you wonder if he went the opposite way. If he's like right now where you are shining your light, and the cameras could possibly be anywhere over there.
Well, we're on Hollywood Way right here, right by the 5 freeway, right by the Shell station. Now, people are saying that they saw somebody running westbound on Hollywood Way. We were definitely looking. There's no doubt about it. We had the wide shot up. I have many eyes on those pictures. Nobody has seen anything right now, that's for sure. Good restaurant right there. I don't want to shout out the guy's name, but great restaurant right there for steak. Right now, the car basically, we're saying, is crashed under the 5 freeway. Some talk of it being over here by the Shell gas station. Not seeing anybody in the area. Right now, though, looks like this suspect has eluded officers. Not sure.
It won't take long for them to catch up, and they weren't that far behind.
The wash.
Yeah. He ran into the wash right there next to the highway, huh? I see what you're...
Well, we had a shot up earlier on. We have not seen him in that wash area. But we are listening along with everybody else. Right now, the helicopter is saying basically the same thing. We had not seen anybody come out of that area. That was where Sky 9 was earlier on. We were waiting for him to come out. So they're probably just going to start making sure that all the bases are covered.
Yeah,
wow. So this normally doesn't happen, but looks like the chase ended, at least the car part of it. The guy jumps out. The police went right behind him, but they came up pretty quickly. And it's amazing right now that we can't seem to find the suspect, the driver, anywhere.
Well, if he went into the wash, that would be a good place for that person to hide until they get down. They'd have to scale the wall down to the dry wash there and then search that, Lena, wouldn't they? I mean, look how high it is. See where it's all lit up where the trees are? If he gets down into that area, I mean, I would assume that'd be a pretty good place to hide.
And Stu, did you see them actually checking the cars that were under the overpass for fear that he might have jumped into a car with someone else?
You know, I was so worried about that, and you know, it may have been what happened out here this evening. Again, that might have been one of the reasons why he was on that phone. You know, we saw him texting earlier on. We saw something like this a while ago. But if that was his plan, you know, wow, he really executed it. He got lucky. Right now, though, officers from LAPD, they are searching this area. We understand that, you know, there are many eyes on that bridge. Nobody saw him come out. That car came rolling out at the end. But right now, it seems like it's going to be a suspect search out here at the Hollywood Way and the 5.
Okay, we'll continue to follow the end of this pursuit in Burbank on KCAL9 and KCAL9.com. Stay with us. KCAL9 at 10 starts moments away.
Thank you so much. We want to go back now to our breaking news. A possible third pursuit this evening going on right now. Stu Mandel is overhead in Sky 9 to give us an update now. Stu, is this related to the second pursuit?
You know what? We believe it is. That's the information we're getting. Until it's over, we're not going to know for sure. But if it is related, this might not be a buddy letting them borrow a truck or helping somebody out. This may be a kidnapping. Burbank PD is the one that's right now behind them. LAPD overhead. Where are we? I'm sure that's what everybody wants to know. Westbound 101 freeway coming up on the 405. We're going to be right by Van Nuys Boulevard here shortly. That black pickup truck that you see in the center of the screen driving erratically with that big spotlight on it, that is the suspect's vehicle. And it could have a kidnapped victim inside. Somebody, the owner of that vehicle, still might be inside that car. Crazy stuff this evening for sure. But I can tell you, LAPD overhead once again. Also, Burbank PD, the ones that are closest behind it, they're talking about California Highway Patrol. Because it's a kidnapping situation, they are definitely going to get involved if it stays on the freeways. LAPD, they're also working to get their ducks in a row as well. They're going to have some black and whites on it as well. Now, it's going to be a Ford F-150 four-door. You see it right there. Again, high speeds on the freeway, probably about 70, 80 miles an hour tonight. Going to be Van Nuys area right now. The next major is going to be the 405. I believe we're passing Van Nuys as we speak. But this may be the person from the earlier pursuit that bailed out of the car at the 5 at Hollywood Way.
Yeah, you know, a lot of our viewers are very astute and have watched a lot of this video on social media. There's a little bit of chatter about somebody saw in that overpass where that driver in the pursuit before, this one, bailed out and then saw that pickup truck. And you can see there's something in the bed of that pickup truck. And we understand that they probably took that truck with force because there's a possible kidnapping. So maybe that person's in the passenger seat and the desperate driver that bailed out of that car hopped into this other vehicle, and now police are in pursuit of that. So this would be part 2 of a pursuit that started earlier tonight.
Yeah, that's right. As we continue to follow this picture of Stu Mandel over a pursuit over the Van Nuys area on the 101 freeway headed towards the 405. Let's just recap, Jeff, just how this all began. We know that this was in the latter half of the 9 o'clock hour, that it was actually a car wanted for a stolen vehicle, It's a black Mercury with paper plates. That was the original car being chased by police. First, it went through Burbank. Actually, a young woman stepped out of the car in the Burbank area near Burbank Bob Hope Airport, actually, near a cul-de-sac. And then the driver just kept on going. So we don't know if that young woman stepped out on her own will or was forced out. We have no idea. The driver then kept on going. LAPD airship was overhead and had been chasing that vehicle. Units on the ground stopped at some point and went into tracking mode because of the fact the driver was driving so fast.
And remember, they were trying to scramble units to get behind to engage that pursuit in that vehicle. But this older model car that you were talking about was going over 100 miles per hour and couldn't get up to them at that point in time. He then bailed. Police showed up, I would probably say within a few, probably within 60, 70 seconds afterwards, but that was enough time for that person to bail out in that overpass, under the cover of that overpass. And it looks like Carjack this pickup truck, which you're watching here, which is this F-150, with a possible passenger inside. So now you have another stolen vehicle with a possible kidnapping as well. So let's go back upstairs to Sky 9 and Stu Mundell. What's the latest situation? We know that since you had mentioned that there's a possible kidnapping, there might be a little bit more police activity and wanting to get this guy captured a little more quickly, Stu, right?
Well, you know, Jeff, Susie, they always want to capture the bad guy. Never get that wrong. Where are we right now? Northbound 405, making our way into the Sepulveda Pass area. Now, I understand, I was talking with our TOC guys. They, you know, because you were mentioning, this is the video of that truck leaving from under that overpass. It is pretty obvious because of the yellow boxes in the back of that pickup truck. So, when this car came to an end, when the first pursuit that we, second actually pursuit that we saw this evening, came to an end underneath the bridge, this pickup truck left that area. Some sharp person, officer, picked this car up and got behind it, and the chase was on again. So this is possibly a kidnapping. There is a possibility this person may be in on it, but right now, officers, they're going to play the worst scenario, and they're going to be thinking, this is a kidnapping right now, and this person has taken this vehicle by force after abandoning his. Where are we going right now? Looks like we may be getting off the 405 freeway northbound, but I'm not sure if this is going to be Skirball or Mulholland, but southbound, excuse me, southbound, I always say southbound 405, but it looks like we're getting off the freeway out here. We're going to see where he's going. This is going to put him onto Sepulveda Boulevard through the pass area. Could be a little bit windy out here. We're going to take a look, see which way he goes, but it does seem like he's continuing southbound here on Sepulveda Boulevard. Black pickup truck, LAPD in the air again following this vehicle. On the ground, Burbank was the one in the, basically the main guy, the main officers in pursuit. Think they've fallen back. LAPD working their way up to get closer to this car right now. Don't know if this is an elaborate attempt to get away, which failed, or if this is a more serious crime of a carjacking.
Yeah, the big question mark, Stu, for us still is what happened underneath that overpass, underneath the bridge, at the point where the driver of the black Mercury with paper plates gave up that vehicle and then somehow got into this one. We don't know if they took this car, the driver of this car took the car by force. We don't know if it's a friend who possibly hooked up with a person and said, hey, we're going to get out of here together. We have no idea at this point, but we do know that this person is capable of being dangerous, because we saw that person driving earlier, turning off their car headlights, driving over 100 miles per hour on their cell phone. Stu saw them on their cell phone, looking at their cell phone, and you just got to wonder the desperation right now going through their mind.
Yeah, not only going over 100 miles per hour, but stealing a vehicle, and now it appears to have kidnapped somebody after carjacking a pickup truck. I mean, how desperate is that, that you're getting, you know, worse and worse in shape here when it comes to law enforcement. Of course, this is a lot of bad mistakes somebody is making tonight. I wish that they would just pull over, let whoever is in that vehicle out, and just stop and give up to police. But you know, we've seen this happen many times before. This goes to the point where police have to engage, possible pit maneuver. This Ford truck is not going as fast as that car that he was in earlier, which is about 100, 110 miles an hour. This truck appears to be going a slower speed, but a lot of our astute viewers here on KCAL 9 showing up on social media telling me that they had seen this pickup truck underneath that overpass on the 5 freeway in Burbank when he bailed out, and it must have been a crime of opportunity. Saw somebody in a pickup truck, got in there, strong-armed his way in somehow, and that's what we have right now, a stolen vehicle. We've got a pursuit and a possible kidnap victim in the passenger seat.
That's right. And Stu, it looks like this person just got back on the freeway again. Stu,
right, northbound 405 freeway, high speeds. He's right behind one of those little those hills. We're going to move Sky 9 around, but he'll probably pop out before we get a little bit closer. Don't think we're going to miss anything too exciting. Just a truck driving really fast on the freeway, trying to get away from officers. Not going to work. He's been with LAPD overhead, got that light on it. Officers on the ground definitely keeping track of where this is. Worst case scenario, this is going to be a carjacking. Maybe this is somebody just aiding and abetting. Maybe this is a friend of his, just said, oh, hey, man, I'll meet you under that underpass. We'll get away. Didn't work, buddy. Now it's a chase once again. Got to give a shout out to all the people on social media, giving everybody heads up about this truck leaving that area. Love those guys. Love the little groups also out there. Right now, though, northbound 405 freeway, back up on the top of the Sepulveda Pass. Luckily, not that much traffic this evening. Big pickup truck, though. This could do a lot of damage if something goes sideways out here. Right now, just kind of moving along, slower speeds. Maybe this guy's doing some contemplating. Maybe the other person in the truck is talking him down. But as all we know for a fact, the car not stopping, LAPD getting their ducks in a row, helicopter overhead. This may be an elaborate attempt to get away. Either, in any case, it is. Didn't work. But right now, LAPD's following them. They're keeping an eye on it. Speeds have slowed down a little bit. Ground units are getting closer to this car.
Yeah, you mentioned this is going to be obviously a very larger vehicle. This is going to be a pickup truck. So what kind of problems does that pose to police when it comes to matching this vehicle if they have to ever, do a pit maneuver or have to stop this individual? What do they do about that, Stu?
Well, we've watched a lot of these in the past. We've seen them do the pit maneuver on pickup trucks. I don't think the size of the vehicle matters. It's the technique for the driver that really makes the difference. And those LAPD officers and CHP, and also, of course, not in this chase right now, all the law enforcement in Southern California, when they go to those training classes, they get the best training. They know how to do this. They know how to do it safe, and they know how to make it happen in the best way possible. Right now, though, they're not going to be doing anything like that on the freeway. I can pretty much assure you that, though we have seen it in the past. Right now, though, back in a carpool lane, we're going to be northbound 405. Yes, it is northbound 405. We're going to be out by the Sherman Oaks area, getting very close to the 101. We've watched this earlier on. If it's the same guy, he might make his way back to that same area. That's the area where it started. Don't know if that's where he lives. I'm just making a wild guess. Right now, though, LAPD, they are working to put the plan together. They're going to stop this one way or another, or they're just going to watch it peter itself out, which we've seen so often in the past with a lot of these chases. Back into the carpool lane, picking up a little bit of speed. Ford pickup truck. Somehow, the driver from the other pursuit earlier on, the black vehicle, the black Mercury, somehow got into this car. Was it aiding it? Was the driver a friend helping, or was it taken by force? All this, we're going to find out when this comes to an end.
Yes, Stu, and you were mentioning earlier that, of course, the LAPD airship is overhead, and Burbank Police was also chasing this vehicle. Is the LAPD and are the CHP and the LAPD now involved as well? Units on the ground,
yes, they are. I don't know in what capacity. I can see there's a vehicle right there. Those are undercover vehicles. Those were there earlier on with the black car. We're going to be passing Burbank right now, northbound 405 on it's Burbank Boulevard, and you can see some of the CHP making their way onto the freeway right there. Another one on the on-ramp. Don't know if they're blocking traffic or just kind of standing by, but I can tell you one of those CHP vehicles making an effort to get onto the freeway. This big truck starting to do those same maneuvers we saw earlier on in that four-door sedan. So it could get a little bit more dangerous. Don't know what this guy's plan is. Obviously, he's going to get a couple more minutes, maybe an hour or so of freedom. Hopefully, nobody's going to get hurt. Another violent lane change right there. Another lane change right there. But it's a bigger truck. It's a bigger vehicle this time. It's a truck, so it's going to be a little bit more dangerous. It's always dangerous, though. Don't ever be fooled. This stuff, we like to play, but these are so dangerous, especially to the people that are in the area when this thing comes to an end.
Yeah, and this F-150 is starting to pick up speed. It's interesting how you can almost tell that that's the same driver of the car from before, because he's doing the same thing that he was doing before, and that's going from the left-hand HOV lanes into the middle lane, then all the way over to the right-hand lane, which is exactly what he's doing right now. While we take a look at this breaking news from Sky 9 and Stu Mundell of this pursuit north on 405, let's bring in another picture from earlier. We had a number of people say that they saw this pickup truck. There it is. We're going to show you the circle there where that was the pickup truck that was under the overpass there on the 5 freeway, where we believe that suspect bailed out of that older Mercury and then somehow got into that pickup truck. We don't know if it was by force or by plan, but there was some sort of alert that somebody may have been kidnapped. So again, that is from earlier tonight. That happened in Burbank when that suspect bailed out of that first vehicle and then wasn't seen, but then that truck, as you can see, that's the same one on the left-hand side of your screen, came out from that overpass, and it appears that maybe that individual took over that pickup.
Yeah, and you can definitely see from the video that you were showing us, Jeff, just how fast that person was trying to get away too after they got into the truck itself, out of the other vehicle. So definitely someone trying to run from authorities, obviously trying to get away, but it doesn't look like this person is going to get away because as soon as they pulled out of there, boy, one of the officers out there had a sharp eye and saw that car getting away and said, that is the vehicle that we are now in pursuit of.
And what you're seeing on the right-hand screen now is that's the original pursuit from that vehicle. That is when you saw him back up. That's when the woman got out of the passenger side. We don't know if she just decided to get out, if she had resisted at some point in time. But then you see we're going to show that that pursuit right there, and that's what occurred before that individual got into the pickup truck, which is live on your left-hand screen.
Yeah, that was near Bob Hope Burbank Airport when the woman that Jeff was just mentioning got out of the car near a cul-de-sac, and then the driver just fled, went just speeding away. The woman again stepped out, and the LAPD airship was overhead as they were speeding on surface streets and the freeways as well. At one point, we saw them turn off the car headlights when they were inside the Mercury, the first vehicle in the pursuit tonight, and they were actually driving 100 miles per hour. The driver looking at his cell phone, driving in and out of lanes, out of the carpool lanes. And then we saw the driver go, like you said, underneath an overpass with that black Mercury. And then there is the big question of what happened after that. What happened underneath the bridge or the overpass, and what happened before they came out with this truck?
Yeah, and as we continue to gather information, there was some report of a kidnapping. That could be certainly what happened if he took that truck over by force, or you had mentioned he was going over 100 miles per hour on the highway and was using his cell phone. So you don't know if maybe he was trying to plan to get somebody there to transfer vehicles or whatever the case may be. Maybe there's somebody that was helping this driver. We don't know as we continue to follow this Ford F-150 pickup truck. You see some items in the back of that truck. This is one that we believe that was taken over by a driver in Burbank and is now being followed by police. And our Sky 9 Stu Mundell is upstairs in Sky 9 with a look at the very latest. Stu?
Well, Jeff, love the recaps. I got to be honest with you. It brings everybody up to speed. If you're just starting to watch, wondering what is going on, very complicated, you laid it out pretty much. You did exactly all the facts. Right now, though, northbound. We're passing San Fernando Mission on the 118 freeway. So we're going to be on the 118 eastbound, and it looks like we're almost retracing those same steps. You mentioned earlier, same kind of driving pattern. Heck, looks like he's making the same roundabout through the valley out here. It's going to be coming up on Arleta. Looks like we're not taking the 5 freeway, or we are taking the 5 freeway. So we're taking the 5 freeway southbound, basically heading back over to that same spot over by Hollywood Way. Don't think that same trick is going to work again, because this time LAPD right behind him. Now this vehicle still being chased by LAPD in the air, on the ground, even though we've been on the freeways for quite some time. The Highway Patrol definitely right there, willing to give a hand at any moment. We've seen them blocking on-ramps on the freeways, keeping traffic to a minimum, keeping the public safe. That's one of the things that they are most concerned about. Catching the bad guy, that's part of it, but the public safety, that, it's written on the door of the cars. Always think about that, to serve and protect. That's there. So right now they're making their way southbound on the 5 freeway back into the Arleta area, Pacoima area. Going to be passing Osborne here just in a minute. Terabella, then Osborne. But this vehicle is picking up a little speed again. You can start to see him move away from all these other the cars on the freeway. But because he doesn't have that great head start, even if he does open that up, that LAPD is going to be right behind it. You can see one of them right there. I believe there's backup for him right behind him. Where is he going? Gosh only knows. Right now, just passing Osborne. And, he's been on the 170. We'll see if he takes it again. Right now, it seems to be favoring those carpool lanes. And they're looking for, they keep wanting that black and white. When they say that, the important, what the difference is, more visibility, more lights, more public awareness. That's the reason why they want that black and white police vehicle with the ampoules on the roof and the strobes going to allow more people for higher visibility to know that there's something going on. The ones that are behind them, they're called hybrids, or they're not really undercovers, because everybody knows that that is a police car, but they don't have those light bars. They just have those lights in the windows and the strobes. So that's the reason why they're asking for a black and white. Southbound 5 passing Sheldon, there's getting very close to where this started, getting very close to where this vehicle was picked up. So I'm kind of wondering, is he going to try to pull that same stunt? We're going to find out. Yeah,
it really is a question. We always wonder why these people who are involved in pursuits, Jeff, tend to stay in the area, maybe circle the area. Sometimes it's in an area, they return to where they live. This person was in the Burbank area earlier with the other car, Sun Valley, Arleta, Sylmar, and after they took this car possibly, looks like we're in the same area again. You know, Stu, we can only hope that the passenger of this car right now, the pickup truck, is a friend of this person, of the suspect, and not someone he carjacked or kidnapped. Can you actually see another occupant inside this car right now?
Oh,
looks like we're slowing down. We're stopping.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen that move. Maybe he's just trying to get a little bit of speed or get some difference between him and the other cars. Not going to happen. Those officers are going to get back get back in their cars and get back on there very quick. There we go, making some crazy moves right there. That was Lancashire, by the way. Excuse me if I didn't say it earlier on. We were southbound 5 at Lancashire. Now he's going to be back onto the northbound 5 from Lancashire. That was the first time we've seen him do that, like, hard braking and stop type of move. No doors opened up, no windows opened up. You know, so we're not sure what they're trying to do. This guy's trying to outthink LAPD. Good luck to you, buddy. But right now, the helicopter overhead, lights still on it, basically just making our way back the other way. Northbound passing Sheldon, going to be over Sun Valley area. We're going to be back in the Pacoima area, Sylmar area shortly. With backlight, one of the back truck lights just came on. So, you know, this guy fumbling around inside that truck, kind of wondering what he's doing. Back into tracking mode again, because they got to get those other cars, the police cars, back up behind him.
Yeah, and you wonder, making a quick stop like that, you wonder if somebody in that vehicle who was, you know, maybe taken by force is objecting or fighting with them or wrestling with them or somehow trying to stop them from doing this. I mean, you can imagine what's going on in that cab of that vehicle.
And we don't know if this person's even armed.
Exactly.
We don't know that.
And you know, if that person is trying to maybe persuade them to pull over, to stop, maybe they're trying to reason with them and talk to them, whatever the case may be. I've never seen in that pursuit of that individual stop a vehicle, which is a little odd, but now he's got a passenger and maybe that passenger is trying to tell him to pull over and give up.
Yeah, who knows? You know, we never know the mentality or what these people are thinking. You can only wonder and hope that they will stop at some point really soon. It looks like, yeah, he is boxed in, Stu. Going right in between those cars. I mean, barely missing the cars on the right and left-hand side of him. I mean, it's just amazing just how, you know, fast these people drive and how dangerously these people can drive, too.
Doesn't know where he's going.
Yeah, looks like he's on the wrong side of the road. Now he's making a right turn.
Yep.
And getting back on the freeway, is it?
Back on the freeway, yeah.
Get back onto the freeway.
Yeah, this driver is obviously very comfortable with getting up to the high speeds in whatever vehicle he has stolen. To feel a little bit more comfortable, what do you bet he's going to go to the left, to the HOV lanes, and then all the way back over to the right? He's trying to figure out what's going on here and how to get away from police, and that's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to outrun the officers on the ground and up in the air as he is kind of picking up speed a little bit here as you continue to follow this KCAL 9 police pursuit. This is breaking news, possible carjacking as well. This all began in Burbank with a stolen vehicle that we saw. It was an older model Mercury that was in pursuit until that individual bailed out at an underpass on the 5 freeway in Burbank, and we believe took over this pickup truck and a possible kidnapping victim in the passenger seat. As Stu has taken a wider shot here, we know that there was one all-white LAPD undercover vehicle. You can see the red and white strobes inside the slick top car there that was following him. And we don't know if CHP is on scene yet, but of course here he goes over to the HOV lane, and then we'll see him kind of meander to the middle lane, Susan, then over to the right hand. This is pretty much his MO all night.
And you know, Jeff, I just had a thought, you know, and I'm sure officers are speaking to her as we speak right now, but we mentioned at this hour earlier during the 9 o'clock hour that we actually saw the person who is driving this, who we believe is driving this vehicle right now, who was driving the Black Mercury earlier, dropped off a passenger who was sitting inside this car near Burbank Airport, and then took off. And I just had a thought that perhaps that person is the one who owned that Black Mercury.
Sure could have been.
Could have been.
Sure could have been.
And so maybe this is
a second carjacking.
Person. Exactly.
Sure could have been. Yeah, I mean, anything is possible. We don't know until this is all said and done as to what's happening. Now, Susie, you made mention of that, and we see there on the right-hand part of your screen, that was earlier in this other vehicle, the late model Mercury. He allowed that woman in the passenger seat to get out, and then he took off, and then was later seen on the freeways going up to 100 plus miles per hour, and then stopped, of course, in Burbank. Under that overpass and then bailed out, it looks like got into the pickup truck on the left-hand side of your screen there, and that is the live pursuit that we have going on now. Yeah, and we've been staying in the same area, the northern San Fernando Valley, Arleta, Sun Valley, Sylmar. Again, it started in Burbank, so this driver either knows this area or wants to stay in this area. Stu, where are we now? Okay, I don't think Stu may be busy trying to get some more information, so let's continue to bring you up to speed here on the right-hand part of the screen.
Just passing the Sherman Way.
Go ahead, Stu.
Just passing Sherman Way, southbound 170 freeway, just passing Sherman Way. We're actually doing some fuel calculations up here. We're trying to make sure we get the full coverage of this chase. Right now, though, his speeds are picking up. I was noticing they were slowing down. He was staying underneath the 100-mile-an-hour mark. Now he's pushing it back up to the 100-mile-an-hour mark. We passed Sherman Way, southbound 170, North Hollywood area. This is kind of the area where we picked up the pursuit earlier on. A sharp-eyed officer from the Burbank PD got behind this vehicle somewhere off of Magnolia, and that's when the chase took off. Right now, though, he's working his way back towards that area. Not saying he's going to go there, but definitely back on the 170 freeway, southbound, heading out towards the 101, making these crazy lane changes out there. Bigger truck, it's newer, they drive like cars. Everybody knows those new trucks are pretty solid. But even at those high speeds, bigger tires, it's always going to make everything just a little bit more dangerous. Folks on the roads this evening, they've got to see this coming. Helicopter overhead, LAPD playing that game. Do we chase this guy? Do we stay behind him? They don't want him to get away. There's that concern that this may be a carjacking. But if it was a carjacking, hard on the brakes, looks like we might be getting off at Magnolia. If it is Magnolia, that's going to be a very short off-ramp. A lot of trees out here as well. Making that turn right there, looks like he's coming to, look at that. Whoop, oh, here we go. Wrong side of the road, back onto Magnolia, underneath the freeways again. Yep. Popping back out, but not making that opportunity to get back over. Now he is making his way into an area, if you probably know this area pretty well, going to be back out on the Lancashire. That's going to be the major, I think, in Riverside first. But at any rate, this is going to be an area with that bigger streets, more people on the roads, so it's going to be a little bit more scary, especially if he keeps up with these crazy high speeds.
Yeah, he's going fast.
Right now, though, streets look like they are going to be a little bit more open. Coming to a slow stop there, going to make another turn. This is something new. A little bit of a side kick right there when he went around the corner. This type of stuff is going to be back on, Camarillo. He's on Camarillo, so that's going to bring it over to that big wide X out here. But right now, you can see he's going to be going back underneath the freeway. Green lights ahead. Lucky for everybody involved. But look at these speeds. Surface streets, not what you want to see. Coming up on, whoa! I believe that was Riverside right there. So coming back up to the 134, I think is what he's going to be crossing under right there. Maybe the 101. You're really getting these high speeds. A lot more cars out here. Don't want to see this end poorly, but it's got to come to an end. Vineland coming up to Ventura Boulevard. You can see him really, he's not slowing down, even though those brakes are on, but he's coming up on Ventura, going to stay a little bit wider. Somebody trying to make a turn. Some people just doing what they're doing. Another turn right there, so running a right, skidding out, now on Ventura Boulevard. Going to be heading out towards the station right now, but he's on Ventura Boulevard. He's going to be westbound. This is going to be dangerous. This is a dangerous area for sure. even at regular speeds.
Yeah.
You got to wonder, look,
he's
getting
going
stuck
between
right
cars,
there
opposing
and being
traffic.
so aggressive.
Yeah, and you know, it's one thing when you're on the highway and everybody's going the same direction and you're at a high rate of speed, but when you're on these surface streets going a high rate of speed, and at night, I mean, this individual is not going to be able to brake in time if there's a pedestrian in the crosswalk ahead, a bicyclist, whatever the case may be. That's what makes this so dangerous on these surface streets going that fast. It's dark. He's not going to be able to react in time if something was to happen to be in front of him.
Yeah, especially on Ventura Boulevard in Studio City. We know because we work here, we know that there's a lot of people outside, especially at this time of night, you know, going to the local bars and restaurants, frequenting the different businesses along Ventura Boulevard. So we can only imagine, I mean, again, we're trying to imagine what's going on inside the car right now, what's going through the mind of this individual who's been driving erratically and leading police on this pursuit now for over an hour. And when is this going to come to an end, and where and how?
Well, and think about the dynamic inside of that cab of the pickup truck, because they have a possible carjacking victim and a kidnapping victim in the passenger seat. So you wonder if that person is able to persuade them to do anything. At one point in time, this driver stopped and made a complete stop, and then has since then been going a little faster than it was before. So we wonder if there's any sort of influence. It
looks like they're going to make a right turn right now, Laurel Canyon Boulevard, going down, headed towards the 101 right now. If they go left, they can go on the, yeah, that's right. And Stu, earlier we were seeing undercover units chasing or attempting to chase this vehicle. Is that still the case, or have they backed off for good for now?
Well, not for good, never for good, but they did back off. That's that area where that sinkhole was. A lot of road construction. You can see that barrier. It was making it very tight. This truck pushing its way through. Laurel Canyon, you're right. Look at that pedestrian just kind of looking at this guy like, what's up with you, buddy? Yeah. You know, luckily nobody gets hurt in that one, but this is the type of stuff, you just mentioned it. You got to worry about those pedestrians. But this guy just kind of pushing his way through Laurel Canyon, definitely coming back up onto the 101 freeway. Does seem to like those freeways, so possibly going to be making his way back onto the freeway. Right now, though, still just pushing his way. Laurel Canyon, there we go, under the 101 freeway. Going to see if he makes a turn coming out the other side. Yes, he is. So it looks like we're going to be getting back onto the 101. Lights are off. Don't know what that's all about. Lights are back on. Maybe he's just trying out the switch. Anyways, here we go, and back onto the freeway. I'm being told to hand it off to you guys.
Okay, well, Stu may leave us here because he's got to go get some fuel. Unfortunately, you know, that thing is in a bottomless tank when it comes to Sky9. These pursuits last sometimes a pretty long time. This one began quite a while ago, so the helicopter's been up for quite a bit. We're going to keep that shot up, however, because Stu can follow this vehicle all the way to where he needs to go to get fuel until he lands, and then he'll get back up above this if it continues to go. So we'll continue to follow this here on KCAL9 and KCAL9.com. This is, once again, a pursuit West 101 Freeway. This is in Studio City now. We've been following this for about an hour. This is a continuation. This would be part two, if you will. The first pursuit of this individual was in an older model Lincoln. He bailed out in Burbank, got into another vehicle, we believe by force, kidnapping victim in the passenger seat of that Ford F-150 pickup truck that has been seen going over 100 miles per hour and is now in Studio City as we continue to follow this story here on KCAL9.
Yeah, that was a really interesting part in this pursuit because there was a switch of vehicles. At first, as you mentioned, there was a black Mercury with paper plates involved, and then the driver got underneath an overpass, and within seconds we saw another car. This is the truck now that we're seeing on the left side of your screen that police are now pursuing, start just driving right out of there from underneath the overpass. And what you're looking at on the right side of your screen is what Jeff was talking about. After the female passenger got out of that car, well, that guy was just out of there. He drove out of there, drove very dangerously, as you can see, barely missing that semi-truck there, making that left turn. And that was kind of the story all night with this individual.
Yeah, this guy's crazy. He just continues to get deeper and deeper in trouble here. At one point in time, it's a stolen vehicle. Now it's a second stolen vehicle. Carjacking, could be kidnapping now. That's a federal offense. Okay, welcome back. This is KCAL9. And we have extended the 10 o'clock hour here as we continue to follow this possible carjacking and second pursuit of a suspect. This all began in Burbank earlier tonight in a stolen vehicle, an older model Mercury, or Lincoln Mercury, that the individual bailed out of in Burbank, and then at some point in time, we think, took over this pickup truck here that you're seeing driving almost losing it in that intersection, and it comes to an end right here. We do have Stu Mundell in Sky 9. Stu.
Laurel Canyon victory. Laurel Canyon victory. You see the guy getting out of the car. He's trying. Look at that. Still trying to get away. Still trying to get away. Right there. That's the driver. That's the guy that caused all these problems. Running right there. Got somebody else in that car. Up. He's got his hands up. Starting to slow down, starting to slide out again around a corner. Officers taking him down right there. That guy's been taken down. That is the driver in custody right now. I'm very curious to see if the passenger of that car is okay. Coming to an end out here, North Hollywood, oddly enough, very close to the North Hollywood LAPD station. Basically was trying to run another red light, lost control of that truck, skidded out of control, took out a light, and then also into a building right there. Don't think that is a woman. I believe that's a passenger, just a guy in the car. Don't know. They're going to figure this all out. Was that a kidnapping? Was that a friend? That's the passenger in custody. Over here is the driver in custody, sworn by LAPD. Oh, that dog wants to get a bite of him after all that they caused tonight. Right now, though, no bite. Guy's in custody. They're taking him up against the wall. They're going to check him out, make sure he's got no weapons on him. But this pursuit coming to an end out here, North Hollywood area, with a crash. Couldn't say it's spectacular. Just happy that nobody, no innocent people were hurt. And you can see the number of LAPD that were on the ground following as they're basically pulling up here on scene. Crash at a gas station. Gladly didn't take out any pumps. Did hit a building though. There's the truck right there. Car has been cleared. Passenger right there. Was he a friend? Was he a victim? We're going to find all that out. But this pursuit now coming to an end in the North Hollywood area.
Stu, at what point did you see the ground units join this chase? Because I know for a majority of the chase this evening during the 10 o'clock hour, it was only the LAPD airship that was overhead following.
Well, you know, Susie, Jeff, what happens is they're always there. Yet they may not be right behind it. Sometimes I was trying to get wider shots. When I looked out the window, I could see the reds and blues in the area. Those are officers that are in the area. So when this happens, they are there to take these people into custody. You can even see SWAT guys out here as well, because they thought this may have been a kidnapping and it may have been an entirely different situation. I know some of my friends are going to be tweeting me and texting me, are those SWAT guys, are they Metro? They are heavily armed, specially trained officers from the LAPD in case this was a kidnapping. Right now, though, looks like this person that was in the truck is being treated, at least at this moment, like a suspect and not a victim. That is not going to be the driver. That's going to be the passenger. The driver, they took him out. They put him into a vehicle. But no, they didn't. He's still outside. There he is, about a block and a half away. This guy, determined. You're going to see the playback. He gets out of the truck and he's crouching down behind the bed, still determined to get away. LAPD. What a job tonight. This guy is in custody. Nobody, no civilians injured. Even the suspect seems to be at least standing on his own this evening, though it was an interesting crash as he went through that intersection. Lost control on his own accord. He didn't make contact with any other vehicles, just lost control of that truck, skidded around, took out a pole, and then crashed into a building. LAPD definitely getting their guy tonight.
Yeah, pretty good outcome at this point in time. Just a little bit of property damage and a lot of paperwork, and it appears the end of this pursuit. I don't know if he lost control because maybe the person in the passenger seat was maybe fighting to get control of that vehicle, possible kidnapping.
It looked like a wild maneuver with the steering wheel.
It did. It didn't look like it was anything that was predicated by somebody, getting in front of him or anything like that. So we wonder what could have been happening. But of course, police are going to have to determine if that person, the passenger, was a victim or part of this whole crime that occurred tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure you join Pat Harvey and Rick Garcia on CBS 2 News at 11 tonight for an update on this story. For now, we rejoin Kevin Cuenca with Sports Central. Good night.